I guess before we get into the conversation, I'll just say that we were talking about whether we should jump on this app or not, and I normally don't promote downloading another app. I know a lot of people are like, another app, but in terms of, and there's some, not to say there's nothing good on this app, because obviously there is. I've watched investment stuff, and listened to investment stuff and different type of things that I thought was fire. Shout out John Robinson in the building. Uh, but I felt like, and we felt like as a team, like, man, we got to have our own. If there's room for something fresh and dope, and it's not about the same old thing that people talk about, that's not the same perspective. And honestly, just in terms of how we do things on the BTSN side, there's so much about our regular life circle that this is a dope opportunity to share, because like there's people who you don't know hang out and talk, or people in hip hop don't know that they hang out and talk, or maybe the industry, however you look at it, and they like have way doper conversations than these little sectioned off. We got all the gangsters right here talking. We got all the knowledge guys over here, the gods over here, and we got the intellectuals over here. Meanwhile, we all intermingle and are friends, and are talking about shit on a whole nother level. So this room was more going to be about, taking that opportunity to just get back to kind of hanging out when we all in different areas. JR has just jumped on. He's from New York, but he in Atlanta. Maya's in Atlanta. JE is in Pittsburgh. Tony, I don't know if he just jumped on. He's in Portland. Some of us in LA. Some of us will be from Chicago, different places. Just somewhere we could tap in, give a different perspective on things that are going on, maybe share some expertise, maybe get some people on here who haven't had a chance for some, execs or something to talk to them about something with their craft, and just kind of carve out another space for us to stay in contact, joke around in the chat, back channel. I don't know what y'all back channel vibes are, but I'll leave that for y'all to figure out. But somewhere we can have just new conversation, authentic conversation, tap in every once in a while on a no pressure type of wave. Maybe catch a podcast that we might have on our channel later on, and just get into a vibe that's a little bit more healthy, a little bit more productive. I hope personally that we find out some project that the people who jump on this on our rooms can all do together and pull our resources to do together, and push the projects that we have already. But so that's really the vibe that kind of set it in motion, and you could tell from our circle, we'll have the range of, come on now, you got Big Y on the call, and you got John Robinson on the call, and you got Justin on the call, and then you got JE. Like the range between the people that our conversations are here to kind of create a stage for is dope. It's diverse, and it's just not going to be on the regular, just come to bash somebody down vibes. I think we got enough of that. Uh, you know, so that's my little two piece.
I like your two piece. I think pause. I'm not sure if that's. I don't know if I catch pauses. I don't know if I caught her name, but she was talking about other people in the hallway, and I feel like the best way to draw content to. I mean, the best way to draw attention to this particular channel is just to have great content. And I feel like once we have great conversation, great content, I think that'll speak for itself, and then we can just continue like that.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. Just to kind of add like onto what Bad was saying, just our reflection of our relationships will be shown a lot in this community. Um, when we have conversations, it's funny because as I'm looking at, just those that's here now, um, from business to just great conversations over the phone. I think most of everybody I've had like dope conversations, dope activations where we've done business, we don't got money, you know what I mean? I think that's the energy of this community is to be able to spark. conversation and spark narrative to be able to actually activate and do something. You know what I mean? I don't know who pouring juice right now, but it's it's on fire.
It better be Simply.
That must be they go Simply
Oh
pouring that
damn!
juice,
Hey
pouring that
yo,
juice.
I forgot my mic was still on. I'm sitting here pouring some alkaline water into my water bottle, bro.
Mm,
I know my mic was on.
that do sound like alkaline. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it sound like alkaline. But yeah, just we're definitely gonna have some fun at the same time. Like it's not just about all serious conversations. Like we gonna have some fun. We're gonna pick each other's brains, and I think we just got a real good thing, going. And then just to bring it full circle, BTSN, the actual company behind the scenes network, our channel, the things that you'll see on our network reflects the creatives that are in our rooms. You're gonna see, videographers. You're gonna see different creators who have podcasts. You're gonna see uh, people who are, DPs on set. You know what I mean? Rappers, legendary, producers. It's gonna be a lot of it, and it reflects the things that you will see on BTSN. So I'm excited for this. This is our first, room and the first of many. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited. And really quick, I do want to go around the room just right now and just kind of just everybody explain who you are and what you do. You know what I mean? Can we do that?
Okay.
Des, you up?
Did you say me? Sorry.
Oh, I also want to say Des undoubtedly
Oh,
has the best liquor selection in her bar. I just want to say that. Just want to say off top.
he's gassing it right now. Um, I'm Destiny. I am located in Indianapolis. I have been working in entertainment, PR, and marketing pretty much my entire career since 2011. Um, I work with a lot of different music brands and I've worked with artists before. I do a lot of things. Like I said, I'm a publicist, and I also manage stages. I work with a brand called Beats and Beers, which is a lifestyle music brand. We curate events and we do a lot of showcases in different cities during festivals like South by Southwest and A3C. So I manage the stage for those shows, making sure artists are where they are supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, things like that. I also have a lot of experience in marketing and digital marketing as well. Also in the tech space, I do a lot of digital marketing in the tech space as well. But I've known Polly Rob since I don't know 2015, a long time. um, and that's how I got connected with BTSN. So right now I am the executive assistant. I wear many hats. I help with all things BTSN. So feel free to reach out with any questions, any PR marketing questions, pretty much anything. I know a lot of people who do pretty much just about anything, and it's not even necessarily just music related, tech related as well. I know a lot of people in that industry as well. So I'll hand it off to Pause.
All right, cool. Destiny, that's what's up. Thank you. My name is Iman, aka Pause, aka Simply.
Simply.
um, all right, so right now I work in healthcare. So any questions about healthcare and you want to talk about COVID and argue about that, I'm your girl. Um, Also, just as far as music goes, I'm a singer, I'm a writer. I've done various background vocals. I've sung overseas a couple of times. I sing for Polly Rob whenever he needs hooks. I got him. Uh, let's see. I used to have an internet radio show with Shadow Stevens, if you know who he is. Very famous white guy. Let me see. I don't know. I hadn't thought about listing everything I do, but I'm just a pretty cool person, and I'm a singer, as I said, and I got personality, and I know people from all different walks of life. But right now, I'm just a mother, and I'm trying to figure out my place in this crazy world. And I love Polly Rob. I love Bad. I think I've known them for about 6 years now. And those are my bros, and they can pretty much ask anything of me, and I'm gonna look out, support, and come do what they need. So that's me.
Go Simply, and I named her Simply.
Yes, he named me Simply. We don't have to discuss
I'll put the video.
that.
I'll put the video up of how she got the name Another Day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know why you still have that. Thanks. Jagged Edge, you up next.
Yeah. It's your man Jay Gamble, Pittsburgh, digital content concierge, NFT creative, blockchain enthusiast. I turn stories into brands. Basically, been a creative my whole life. Just recently, went to Dartmouth University for some CEO executive training. That was pretty dope. Really getting heavy into blockchain technology and Web3 technology. It's definitely overwhelming, but we in it and we're gonna learn that we in it to win it. You know what I mean? So right now we're just building teams, building out strategies, and building out viable products. And that's basically me. I'm a creative, so I use a camera myself. I do all my own creative direction for a lot of different companies and organizations. Um, yeah, so look, I'm just a consummate creative genius and very highly opinionated with really good input.
Yeah, and
Love
the dope podcast.
And we got a dope podcast coming out on BTSN called The Gifted Banded Geniuses. And I think that we're going to be able to do some great things with this platform on Clubhouse. Really excited.
Yes,
I'm a mountain
sir.
climber. My name is Badru, and I'm a mountain climber.
it. Nice.
Next.
How many? What type of mountains do you
Oh,
climb?
and I'm the other person that Destiny's in charge of.
Yeah, right.
But just, I would like to know how many. I
Also
would like to
gas
go
me.
into this. But I like to go into this mountain thing of yours. How many mountains have you climbed, sir? Like, are you consummate in this thing? I mean, do you do this often?
Mount Rushmore. I'm a mountain climber, but I'm going Mount Rushmore.
That's what's up.
We all know who Justin is, but go ahead. But Justin, you and your, I hate to ask Justin anything because I feel like he got to come off the IV, like take the Jordan warm up suit off.
Take the mask off.
It's funny.
No,
Well,
he got.
I'm Justin. I'm Justin Hunt, the company man. I write about rap music, talk about it on the radio. Vice president of production acquisition at Behind the Scenes Network, BTSN. Um, I like to fish, swim, and skate, and it's good to be here.
Dope, dope. Yo, peace, everyone. JR, John Robinson, MC extraordinaire, but also in the intersection of culture, tech, as well as education. Learned about 10 years ago that my hip hop MC skill leaks very and leverages well into education. Co-authored a couple books with partner Dr. Jason Rawls, aka producer J Rawls, and have really been instrumental in just creating youth culture based experiences in the classroom to connect young people outside of just regular traditional academia into 21st century life skills and empowering folks. So right now I'm just an advocate for young people mostly, and a deep yearning to want to see our younger generation just aspire to grow old and be something more than just, you know, someone who has a limited or lack or deficit mindset, you know. So that's really where I'm at currently. Definitely honored to be invited to the space and look forward to building further. And I must say too, originally from New York, but have lived in Jersey, Atlanta, as well as Los Angeles. And yeah, I feel like that helped just add to a lot of my perspective and how I move and network to this day.
What you think the greatest hip hop album of all time is?
Definitely not the Chronic, man.
Ah, okay, that was your
Whoa!
answer.
Oh,
Moving on to
whoa!
Big Y. Moving
Definitely
on to
not the
Big
Chronic.
Y.
Oh, whoa! Let's
Definitely.
go.
I knew his
Put it like
answer.
this:
Don't let that segue
Doggy
you.
Style's better than the Chronic, so we could start there.
Okay, wait, because now that's the perfect introduction that Big Y is here. You spoke too soon.
Let's get it.
Why? Where you at? Oh, he must be doing something right now. That was a
Yeah,
great
what is?
introduction.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm not gonna go. I knew his answer was gonna be that, FYI, because that's been going on for a long time.
Oh, at least
Uh
20
oh,
years, 22
Skinny just hopped
years.
in.
Skinny up here,
About to drop you.
skinny.
Got to bring Skinny up. Big Y chime in a minute.
Skinny, you still owe me a hoodie, but it's all good.
Dang,
Your
I never
audio.
knew Swipe to the right. Get him back up there. Come back up
That
there, Skinny, so you can say what you're about to say.
that was funny.
Okay.
Dang,
Yeah,
was I
to the,
gonna ask for the hoodie? My bad.
Right.
that
Once you
is
asked for the
that is
hoodie, he was like, "He cool."
right. That is a good question. What is the greatest hip hop album of all time? That's a good question.
It's an easy answer.
Is there even a
Highly
greater?
debatable. It's highly debatable. And I know Justin he tore up the Game's new album, but I'm rocking with the Game's new album all the way through. I think it's a dope joint all the way through the new one, all 30 songs, however many songs it is, super fly. And I think you got to consider, I mean, you got to consider some new stuff, just some old stuff. It's just out there. Sky High the Prince got the dope one with no dope on Sunday that most people don't know
You,
about. There's
you
just so much good stuff out there.
you do not have to consider anything new.
I'm talking about it in regards to like Sky High the Prince. He got a really dope one with no dope on Sunday. Even though that came out a couple years ago. Um, the Fugees. I mean, there's just so many good albums out. This kind of, that's a hard question to answer. As a music lover, it's just hard to answer that question. The best album, damn, it's tough.
Right.
I agree. It's based on taste, right? It's like everyone has different taste and aesthetic, but I feel like it's also based on uh, proving your point, right? If you name an album and there's usually some sort of emotional attachment or something that connects you to that piece of music in a way that you consider it your favorite and you name it the greatest. But one of the things I feel personally is your favorite and the greatest to you is the record that just kind of resonates with you most or you listen to the
Right.
most or you go back to all the time, you know?
Well, how about we start there? How about we start going around the room? Everybody just say their favorite album of all time, and it doesn't have to be. Well, do you want to start with just hip hop?
Yeah, that's dope. Let's start with hip hop.
I'll say mine's last. Last. Death
Oh
Glad.
no, you can't say that. We gonna all say it, and then I'm gonna say mine.
I'll say mine's last.
You gotta say yours in the middle. You know, everybody gonna sit there and sit there for a long time with this one. Like, how?
Nah, I'll set it off. I mean,
Okay.
Oh no,
when
I'll jump
when
in. Like
when
I'm good with the convo.
when Badu and I used to go back and forth when I was living out there in LA, we would always go with Chronic versus Illmatic. But if I'm being honest to myself, my favorite album of all time, hip hop, is Brand Nubian One for All. it taught me so much. It's a very pivotal time in my life, and I feel like it just kind of opened me to knowledge of self, fashion, intelligent coolness, and just it was a unique album at the time, unique production style, and just something that was different than what I was hearing. And yeah, that would be my fave, Brand Nubian, One for All.
Mm.
That's a tough one right there. I mean, because That's 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 a good one. I think when you talk about passion, I think that that's what kind of got me right there. Like, what album was I passionate about? I have to think about tapes that I actually bought. Like, I actually bought Just Ice. You know what I mean? I actually bought that tape. I actually bought Big the who he's the DJ, I'm the rapper. Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince with my own little money I got from doing chores or whatever. Um, I think the album that really hits me got to be LL Cool J. I mean, like LL Cool J, Bigger and Deffer. I mean, there was just something about I'm bad that just got me. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's just one of those type of songs. I mean, even though that was he had this Bristol Hotel Get Down Candy. I feel good about Candy. Like, I was listening to this whole tape going to Cedar Point on the on the bus, on the church bus back in the day. So I don't know. I gotta give Bigger and Death for a little nod right there. I know that may not be the sexiest choice, or
Mm.
but I think L Cool J is definitely that Bigger and Deffer. I'm gonna have to slide that in there. I'm passionate about that because I actually bought that tape and listened to it on my Walkman over and over and over and over and over again.
Mm. That's a good one. Go ahead, pause. Yin Yang, which Yin Yang Twins album?
What?
Okay.
I don't have a wait a minute. I don't have an ultimate dang. Okay, but I'll tell you the first album I ever bought that I really, really like was DPG. That was my first rap album I bought. And yeah, that's what I'll say. Thank you. Rap Town Gangsta
Mm.
Crips. Thank you.
That's a good
Damn,
ass album.
that got gangster fast. It went from East Coast to gangster
Hey, that's the
fast.
first album I
0 to
bought. And
100.
then after that,
Get it real quick.
Big Notorious B.I.G. Then that was the next album I bought when I was a kid. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Yeah. Craig
That D-
Mack, Big Mac
DPG was
sample.
a
That
good
was
ass
dope.
album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As an MC, I want to say, I guess it's moods. Because different moods, I had different albums. So, what's up?
Good.
Who I owe a hoodie to?
Me, hello,
Me,
Iman.
me,
Simply
me.
Iman. The tall girl. Thank you.
Okay, I got you. I got
My
you. Yeah.
Big Y,
oh my
read the
bad, you go.
chat.
I was thinking about that first Goody Mob album.
Hmm.
Yeah, that
That's
was
a
nice.
dope one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So that,
dope.
but like I said, that's a mood. Like, you know what I mean? Even though the whole album is one mood, but it's a mood. That was like, you know. But yeah. Um,
Yeah, that's one of mine.
yeah, that first Goody Mob album.
I'm
Shit, that first
I'm
G Unit album.
I don't know that Wu Tang. I'm gonna have to change my cause that see that's the albums are hard. I could do artists better than I could do albums because artists is just a little bit easier. Albums because this is different songs, with different things go. I don't know because that Wu Tang when I was in Shinley High School in Pittsburgh, my bro Jeff Benson pulled up in the Walkman with that Wu Tang. I heard one song went by the tape. I think I played that thing like 3 months straight. So I think that Wu Tang is 36 Chambers got to be up there as one of the best as well.
Yeah, that was sick. That was sick. I remember they was walking around Venice Beach handing them tapes out. They had Method Man on one side and I think Protect Your Neck on the other one or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Damn. Goody Mob was a good album. The
yeah, yeah.
Soul
Good
Food.
album was dope. That Soul Food.
The Soul Food
One
was
million
definitely
niggas
dope.
in some. Oh my god.
Man, the Spirit of a Black Planet. Damn, there's just so many albums, man. There's so many records.
A lot of records.
Liquid
Big
Swords,
Big Y,
the
be right back. He
Fugees,
just starting his phone.
That Fuji's album. Yeah.
the Score. That's
Yep.
The
dope.
Score.
Score is one of the
Score.
best albums of all
Score.
time.
Yep. The way that shit
Yeah,
sound.
that's
Big
true.
facts.
Yeah,
I think it may be one of the most complete albums. You can listen to that joint all the way through on multiple occasions. Like you can let it ride all day, and you'll be okay with that. The
definitely.
blues,
Yeah.
the score. Ice
My,
Cube,
my
Ice Cube death certificate for the West Coast is Ice Cube death certificate. That was a tough one right there.
hmm
Definitely love that album.
It's funny when people say Ice Cube, the East Coast people give it love, but when like that's one
He
that
cut
usually
the
get
curl
love on
off,
East
man.
and
We
West.
could relate more when he cut that curl off. I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold
Big
you.
Hey, he
facts.
cut the
He
girl
cut the
off.
curl off. He started
That's
talking all this
fine.
Nation of Islam shit. That that was right up our alley, bro.
Yeah, we got when he got with
Yeah.
the Bomb Squad, he opened up his audience.
Big facts.
He worked with PE's team. Things opened up
Oh,
a bit.
I still like Lethal Injection more than all of them. Though. I'm sorry.
America's Most
Lethal,
Wanted is a tight one too.
Yeah.
America's Most
yeah, it's
Wanted,
fine. But Lethal Injection
and
just had some joints.
I
Right.
gotta go. I gotta
it
go
did.
back to that one.
People sleep on
It's
MC
been a minute.
Ren. Y'all sleeping on MC Ren. MC Ren
well,
had a
oh,
very dope album. MC
No,
Oh, he
okay.
Ren
was
no,
had
nice.
an album.
no, nobody's sleeping on MC Ren. What we are sleeping on is if he delivered the verse, we sleeping on that. If anybody else deliver it, like Easy or whatnot, we rock with it.
That's fun. That's funny when y'all say that about Cube, but because that makes me just think like, and I know we're talking about one thing, but dang, does Cube have the best archive like in hip hop? I like his collection of albums, like all of them, even with
Oh,
NWAs.
that's a
He
good
might
point.
have the best archive, and then he went to West Side Connection. West Side Connection albums were good.
Hmm.
Like he really might have the best archive of any rapper,
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
but where
the
would you
best
stop
library.
his albums? What would you go all the way to War and Peace, or would you stop his collection of albums somewhere? Because then it's a drop off.
I'll add the big three compilation if we got to. I don't care.
yep.
Nah, man,
This
I
nah.
shit's
don't
so
know about
golden when
that.
it was golden. It's so golden when it was golden that he got a basketball league. Come on now, he winning.
I ain't gonna hold you. I rock with Cube heavy.
Do I like every verse? Nah, you know.
I'm trying to
But
think of somebody that's comparable though. I was going to say L, but I'm like, damn, I don't know.
Nah,
LL.
because his album be falling off. I'm sorry. Once he passed number 5, oh,
Yeah,
that was it.
yeah, yeah,
Come
yeah.
on,
He
niggas
went
not
and
listening
left.
to no phenomenon, b.
You talk
niggas
about
not
y'all
listening
gotta
to
go
no
like the
fun.
early LL. You gotta go early LL, the first two, three albums, then he start falling off. But you gotta go first one, two.
Yeah.
Those first two, he was kind of in the game. Then
What
Hey,
was
after
that
that,
shit? Headache. That headache shit was alright, man.
Big Y,
was
your
that?
mic work? We got Jason Halfley in here too.
You
So
know
my
what?
the album I listen to more than any other album, it's probably the album I still think is the best album of all time, is East 99 by Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Hit that mic button on the
Ooh.
lower right hand side, Big Y.
What?
East 99 by Bone Thugs and Harmony.
East
That
99 by
East
both
99.
the.
hold on.
Is
I
that the
Hold
agree
on.
with him.
first?
That is
That's
a
their first
very,
album.
very complete album. That is a very,
That's
very
it's
complete
one of
album.
it's the best album. In my opinion, it's the best album of all time. I'll definitely listen to that album more than any other album. I'm not
Oh, we
saying
got Big Y with the audio. Let's go.
Yo,
Yeah,
Hey,
hey, young
hey.
Leroy.
My guy.
I am JoJo Dancer, the church pastor. I am known from Frisco to Maine, from the pineapple to the Big Apple. And if you ever disrespect the chronic one more time, I knock your motherfucking ass out.
I was about to jump in there
No
and say Chronic. I
disrespect at
still got to throw
all.
Chronic.
No disrespect at all. I was rocking two too. I just don't feel like it's the greatest.
Hey, mm.
I am
That boy.
Suge Knight in his resurgence, sir. Please understand.
hey, Y. So,
I am the ambassador of bullshit. Creator, the only nice thing I ever did was teach motherfuckers how to Dougie.
Really quick, Big Y. What's your
Other than
favorite
that, peace,
album?
everybody. How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
What
What's
up,
your
What
Big
up,
favorite
What's
Y?
Bob?
album
happening,
of all
man?
time?
What's the greatest album of all time?
Yep.
Yep.
Uh, Straight Outta Compton,
Mhm.
Ooh.
Hey,
NWA.
can't agree with that.
Oh,
I couldn't agree with that. Why do you think
okay.
though? Why?
Because it laid the blueprint for all of this shit. Everything that got to do with street that made motherfuckers feel like they could be boisterous and they could really speak. They go outside, go against the grain and say what they want to say and really just be hardcore to and true to themselves as far as what freedom of speech is. I mean, just look at everything that it spawned from. Everything that's worth anything spawned off of the creation of what Easy E did with Straight Outta Compton and Dr. Dre and all of them, what they did starting off from there. Everything spun from that. Rap a Lot, Bad Boy, Death Row, anything you can name that got to do with anything, going all the way to the East Coast. If I'm lying, then tell somebody prove me wrong.
Schoolie D off top. I'm coming in quick with this, bro. Schoolie D. You gotta go with him. He was talking that gangster shit way before NWA was on the scene,
Are
bro.
we
So we
talking
gotta
about
give props.
Okay, we're talking about generations that moved the needle later on after that. Schoolie D is, he didn't stay current enough for people to keep remembering. That's just like if you want to speak of Egyptian math, ain't nobody gonna know what the fuck you talking about. They want to know what's going on within the last recent and better years when everything was relevant. Now, if you talking about stuff after LL Cool, if you want to mention him, you talk about LL.
Yeah.
You talk about Cool G Rap.
That part.
No, we
That's
talk.
Coogee.
real.
No,
That's
we
real.
talking about if you're talking about who ushered in gangster rap because you made the statement that NWA was the godfathers of all this gangster shit. I'm trying to tell you that that may not be the case. You know what I'm saying? Because we had other people who was on that gangster shit before NWA was on that type of
Yeah,
time.
but I'm talking about the effectiveness of the influence.
Right. The
He
impact.
they didn't he did Schoolie D did not have the influence on the culture of what NWA did. Not at all. Nowhere near.
I can't. We
Eh,
can't say
If
that.
you
Can we
ask,
say that definitively though? Can we say that definitively?
all right, you go into a room in Egypt, you go into a room in Brazil, and you say Schoolie D, Dr. Dre. They
Yeah,
gonna say, who the fuck is Schoolie D?
that's true.
You go
And
That's
fact.
then
true.
you gotta also
You could go
remember
into
the
a
term.
cave. You could go into a cave in Russia where nobody knows no English or nothing, and you say Snoop Dogg and you say Schoolie D.
No, and then we can go further than that though. Just take the titles of the songs too, not just the gangsterism, but like the whole express yourself or the
Yeah.
whole fuck the
Exactly.
police.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
express
they
yourself as dope.
literally was
Yeah.
telling. They literally
Now I
told
get what you're
people.
saying about Schoolie D, but you would have been better off saying Grandmaster Melly Mel in the message.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
agree.
I was talking about it. I think the point I was making in regards to the pioneers of this gangster rap. That's what I'm saying. We have to
No, when I
mention
say
Schoolie D
gangster,
in that
when I say
conversation.
not to cut you off, when I say gangster, I don't mean as far as like the element of the gangster side. I'm talking about as far as the street, the reality rap of what's going on the blocks. That's
Hmm
where it stemmed from. You know what I mean? Like our culture, where gangster rap came from, it stemmed from when Melly Mel then was talking about the streets and the things that they was talking about. You know what I mean? As far as coming from the street elements of it,
True.
like Kaz and all them did. It just came from
hmm
our point of view.
That's
And
Yeah.
real.
it's
That's
funny.
real.
It's funny. It's like you know first off, I agree with like a lot of y'all points, but the term that we're using, pioneers, and the godfather of the situation. So it's like, what, who pushed the most influence, and that's how I would grade any of the best album of all time is by how much influence and impact did it service for however many years or whatever. That's just kind of how I would equate the best album
And
of all time.
to add something else, I would mention Schoolie D in the same breath as King T,
Shout out to
because
Mm.
King T.
you got dudes like King T. He played a similar role to how you saying Schoolie D did. I understand what you're saying about Schoolie D, and you're right. And that's the type of role that King T came, you know what I mean? But they didn't get the, how can I say it? They didn't get the influence. They didn't get known as much for that. You know what I'm saying? The influence came from later on.
I would
And the
say Cool G Rap
longevity
influenced
too.
more East Coast gangster
I,
rap than Schoolie D did, even though
G
Cool
Rap
I
G
would
might
most
have made
definitely
a
did.
verse.
I would
Most
put
That's
I
a
would
definitely.
put
fact.
I would put Ice T close to Schoolie D. I would put Ice T like Schoolie D kind of like close in that regard because I think they kind of came up around the same time with around
Yeah,
that same era around the '80s. You know what I mean? They was around that
yeah,
same type of time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause Ice kind of influenced NWA, but see, Ice T had different. He had different realms of who Ice T was. You got
Ice T
Ice
came
T
and he
on the
came to the
power.
East Coast
You
and he
got
came from
Ice
the
T.
East Coast.
Right. Yeah, and that's when he came from there, that's when he was doing breaking and entering. Remember when him and DJ Glove had that show breaking and entering in '84 with the
Mm,
black gloves on, and they was doing all when he was in breaking the movies and all that. That was a different Ice T from the one on the power cover
big
with the
facts.
girl with the bathing
Mm.
suit on.
Yeah,
Mm,
you're right.
yeah.
That was a different Ice T from 6 in the morning. Police at my door in colors. He had different realms of himself. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying just like LL did. LL came in hardcore, nobody can rap quite like I can, to his jingling baby and rode the wave all the way. He jingled baby the rest of his career.
That's real. That's real. He
Big
turned
facts.
into the ladies' man,
Hey,
huh?
Jingling
You
Baby was
understand what I'm saying?
fire.
Once he saw where the money was coming from. You know, just like Run DMC. Once
I
they
think
did that
so.
record, once they did Walk This Way, it was a wrap.
Yeah, I want to
I
say
still.
they were the first rap group to have a video on MTV.
Mm.
Mm.
I think they
And
were.
I
I
think
think
it
they
was that
Yeah, I
was.
think there
video,
Yep.
was.
Walk
Yeah,
This Way.
Yep.
the video watch this way
Yeah.
was yeah, that was right. One
Yep.
hundred
And
percent.
that was one of the big, and that right there opened the door for the collaborations with other genres and other artists to do different things and shit like that. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
that combination was fire.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I forgot about Mac and the Soul Brothers, P Rock and CL
Oh
Smooth.
no,
That
we
was a
shall not.
serious album right there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah, that was
goodness,
my
that
Back in
was
the
a
soul,
serious
brother.
record right there.
yeah, yeah. That was my
don't
shit.
ever forget that.
P Rock and CL Smooth. That's a banger to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else are
Follow the
some
leader.
great albums? It's too
Follow the
many.
leader.
Paid in
Follow
full.
the
Follow the
I mean, I
leader.
mean,
leader.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, paid in full. I was just
Paid in
my,
full.
my song was the when he just start follow the leader, rock chemistry. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Uh,
Like at that time, people
strictly.
wasn't rapping like that many words, that pace, that I was like, what is this dude doing? That
I think
was
Yeah.
that
hard.
album in TV and film, they have used every song on that album to explain the elements of drug dealing in the city. I think they use every record. I'm
Yep,
telling you.
Which one? Paid in full?
Yep.
yep.
Man, I was I was watching New York Undercover, I had to go back to
Oh
that,
yeah, I
me on
went back
Amazon
too.
Prime.
Yeah,
And I yeah, and I heard a couple of joints from that album. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
definitely.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Strictly business.
Hey,
These
hey, hey, hey,
conversations,
hey. Come on, man. First of all, that's my first favorite group, EPMD. So
EPMD, yeah.
all of that business is 100% a go. Yeah.
Hmm.
These
I
are
mean, you
all the
got to
big.
think because out here, it wasn't like back then. We didn't have that real strong. Everything came from the East Coast. You know what I mean? That's what
Mm-hmm.
spawned NWA. You know what I mean? We was out here listening to techno, Egyptian Lover, and all that type of shit. That they was.
Mm.
That's what they was doing. But that shit was hard as a motherfucker. Planet Rock was crazy.
That Beastie
Mm-hmm.
Boys
Yeah.
first album was killed.
Yeah, hell
Oh, the
yeah.
one with the where you open the album cover up and the plane crashing into the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was dope as hell.
a joint.
Yeah,
yeah,
I always
Yeah,
thought it
that
was
shit.
it
ill
was.
how George Clinton, right? And this is just my opinion from an East Coast perspective. I feel like he helped really shape a West Coast sound. Like Cats took his sound and just flipped it into this dynamic hip hop shit that every time you hear pieces of it, You just think West Coast, no matter what.
because it was the live instrumentation.
Mm,
It
Mm-hmm.
was the live instrumentation. You got to think like East Coast more came from gritty drum beats and samples
yeah,
and break
yeah.
beats. You know what I'm saying? And then once we start the things that we sampled was, you know
Funk.
what I
More
mean, was
melodic.
was
Yeah,
funk.
you're right. You're right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's why, when you hear more bounce to the ounce, you automatically think of a West Coast record. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? That's why Ain't No Future in Your Front by MC Breed blew up first here.
Mm,
That
And
shit
he
was
from
that
hard.
that
Detroit.
makes sense. Yeah,
That shit hard as hell.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And same thing with EPMD. You got to chill, more.
yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
saw
Oh
them in
Yeah,
an
man,
Come on,
interview
man.
no.
recently.
Career.
They were
it's a
talking about
combination.
how
You know what I mean?
big
That's
they
one of the
were.
hardest rap records ever made because it's mixed with more bounce.
Yeah,
One of the
Yes,
best beats
yes.
ever.
You know, but then you had a different. You then when you mix the two the right way, then you would get a combination. You know what I'm saying? When you got Ice Cube rapping over all of what's Public Enemy producer name?
Bomb
Bomb
Squad.
Squad.
Bomb
Mm-hmm.
Squad.
On fire. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Shock was it
America's
Shockley?
most with Hank Shocklee.
Yeah.
America's Most Wanted was produced in New York. He did that whole album in New York.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was a different sound.
But yeah.
So it's the mixture. The mixture always comes out right. You know.
Speaking of New York, talking about albums, the infamous Mobb Deep. When I heard that song in high school back in the '90s, I literally wanted to drive from Pittsburgh to New York and then just live in New York because that was like one of the dopest albums I ever heard at that time. The infamous Mobb Deep, because them dudes was
Man,
rapping on almost every verse, every bar, every song was just hitting hard.
that's also another one of my favorite albums and a very, very complete, cohesive album as far as the sound. Like Havoc did his number on that shit, and even now, like my production when I produce, a lot of my snares, I engineer it like how Havoc snares was. His snares and his rims, that shit hit hard as fuck. That shit crazy. He one of my favorite
So,
producers.
so check this out though. That album, that infamous album, Q-Tip had a lot to do with why those
Yeah,
snares are like that.
Mm.
I could definitely believe
Yeah,
that. 'Cause,
Havoc was
ooh,
talking about it recently, and he talks about it a lot. How because Q-Tip produced maybe 3 or 4 tracks on there. Drink Away the Pain,
yeah, Drink
Temperatures
Away the Pain.
Rising. Yeah,
Yep.
but he was saying how Tip just caught a liking to them. They're from Queens. They had a dope sound, and he kind of came
Hmm.
in and just mentored the production element. And have said since that time, it grew his shit to the next level. He was able
Yeah,
to
cause
just
that
Not to,
learn
to
that
some
get back on
things.
that funk. To get back on the funk side, one of the best albums that represented all them samples and a lot of those loops was executed superbly
X
by X
Clan, I
Clan on
knew
their
it.
I
first
was knew
album.
you was
Yes,
about to
for
say that.
sure.
yes, definitely. X Clan.
That
Yeah,
was cool,
man.
bro.
Brother
I got to
J,
ping brother Jay.
Yeah, shout out
Brother
brother
J
J.
is man. Brother J walked in my studio one day and I felt like a little ass punk.
I
I just,
I I was
I
there.
just, oh God.
No doubt.
I'm like, do you know who you are? Like, you know what I mean?
It's
You get
funny
ready to hit one of them.
not to cut you off, why, but I don't think a lot of people realize how much of a hip hop head Big Y really is. Like, if you know what he's done in his lifetime, that's one thing. But to actually be in the studio with this man, and it's a jam session. No, we just playing records that we love, that we grew up on, that we admired the styles. You know what I mean? Like, so that day that he's talking about, I was literally there. It was like it's a kid in the candy store type of energy. You know what I'm saying? That was dope. But go ahead, Big Y.
I mean, because it's like, I mean, if y'all don't know, like, I made my name, started off doing, I did the Banging on Wax record, and I just made my name, like, from a lot of street records, doing a lot of street shit. But you talking about hip hop that I've been involved in, I made my first record when I was 11 years old. So as passionate as I am about these LA streets, I'm even more passionate about hip hop. I just got stuck in a box because I made my name and made money in those realms. But when it come to hip hop, like this is what it is. You gotta understand, man. The first time I met LL Cool J, I woke the whole house up at 3 o'clock in the morning coming from Jack the Rapper at 11, 12 years old. You know what I mean? This
Wow.
is when hip hop
Wow.
was, you know what I mean? Like we don't have that type of experience no more with Jack the Rapper and all those different type of those music conferences and stuff like that where you walk through the hotel and it's just like thousands of rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got battles going on in the corner. You know what I mean? I remember
In the
walking by a
elevator.
battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember walking by an elevator in the Marriott Hotel, and there was a battle going on. Corrupt was right there, and it was this kid, and I couldn't understand why was he rapping so fast. And later on, I realized that was Twister. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's like,
Dope.
and just picture a young Corrupt coming from Philadelphia. You know what I mean? I remember when he got his name. My boy Mental Marcel Williams, the one he pops Tupac talk about him all the time, where his name is Mental. He's the creator of Thug Life. He's my best friend. Taught me how to rap. You know what I mean? He gave Corrupt his name. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different elements, man. You talk about even back in LA, we had our own culture that a lot of people don't remember about. We met up at the Hawthorne Mall at Electronic America, and it was battles
Yep.
every weekend.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? By Drew, no,
Hmm.
that was before the Good Life.
Yeah, I used to be up in there.
You know what I mean? And it's
How
like,
about the
and
arcade?
just like this, it's just like certain elements and certain music make you wanna see certain things. Like you said about the infamous Mobb Deep album. You wanna go where they lived once you listen to that album. You know what I mean? You wanna walk those
Mm-hmm.
streets and see where that's at.
100.
Yep, and
Nah,
that's
that's
how I
real.
felt. That's how I felt about like MC8 and CM Dub and shit like that. Cause I'm, at that time I'm living in Brooklyn and I'm listening to West Coast music and I'm like, yo, these niggas is wild. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
One time gaffled them up, please.
That's my
The
shit.
tape the tape was blue.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like these is just elements of hip hop and music that, you know, we may not never the nostalgia of it, you know what I mean? It's up to people like us that's on the phone right now to kind of keep this stuff alive or to die. If we don't preach it and bring in just the methods of how the music is being made, you know what I mean, and just how to keep things going on, that's why things fade away because the people that are truly passionate about our art and what we do, we're in positions, but we're not in the right position that's gonna move the needle. That's why true R&B is fading away. That's why true hardcore hip hop is, you know what I mean, it gets misplaced. You know what I mean? When it's being handled, you know what I'm saying, when it's being handled and the needle moved by culture vultures like Leor Cohen.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And kiss asses like fucking Steve Lobel. You know what I'm
Real.
saying? I
Nah,
don't
that's
know if
real
these dudes are
talk.
any of y'all friends or nothing, but this is just how I feel.
Nah,
You
that's
Right.
know what I
real
Right.
mean?
talk.
And it fucks up a lot of stuff that goes on. You know what I mean? That's why we don't have, the radio play, the radio stations, you know what I mean, and the play, the people in power to sign these people. You know what I mean? Real MCing and real music that's being made is now what considered to be underground. TF, Rock Marcy, Jay Worthy, all these type of dudes. It's a
Facts.
whole world of these type of rappers and sound, but it can never be on a big. It can never be in the mainstream stage because of the people that's in the offices. You understand what I'm saying? It can be big, and
Hmm.
it is big, but the people in the offices worried about is they freaking to it on TikTok? Is how many times is it being streamed, and all these different things. You know what I mean? Like If we could get Baju a vice president job in Sony and get Polly Rob an A&R job in Def Jam, and you know what I mean, these type of things going on, now the needle is moving. Now you get in the future with the nostalgia and it's all mixing together and the influence is changing.
Or we
You know
can
what I
just
mean?
have
Facts.
And that
value in, or we can just have value in the institutions that we create and just stop like bowing down to these other labels or just
exactly.
doing our own shit. Like at the end of the day, we don't gotta, that's if we feel like they're the ones who are turn or cultural virtues, so to speak, well then we need to be the ones who create to set the culture. So we have to have respect in our
Exactly.
own products that we bring to the table. So there's a lot of labels out there right now that we can just jump behind it and put all them resources toward those labels. I love what
Yep.
Snoop Dogg is doing with just taking all the Death Row stuff off the platforms and saying, "Now we gonna take control of how we distribute our music." And I think
Yep.
that's the best move to make right there.
I mean, right now is the best time for its independence because ain't nobody making no real money anyway. You getting 0.0034% of a penny for a fucking
Word.
stream.
Word.
So right now is the time where you could take chances like this. You know what I mean? Because I mean, shit, what you lose, what you losing? You know what I mean? I got to put out 86 songs. The NBA young boy put out 86 songs last year. 86. That's like 7 albums.
Mm.
How are you gonna get a classic out of 7 albums? Nobody not gonna fucking remember the third one. Now you got kids that'll know the songs, but their attention span only lasts so long. In 10 years, they probably ain't gonna remember all them songs. They're not gonna talk about those songs and those albums like how we talk about the Mob Deep, the Chronic. It's not gonna be memorable.
It's real.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And then the influences change. You know, just like New York, like y'all from the East Coast, right? But look for a whole by our peers and different people fade not being in place no more. Look at what influence took over. You got a whole hip hop realm of New York kids rapping like they from Atlanta and Detroit. Same with Los Angeles.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a whole realm of kids out here, rappers that's calling it West Coast gangster rap. That shit is drill music. That shit ain't what we make. You murdering everybody on every record. You ain't made not one song about a bitch. Excuse me, bitch, females, ladies. But you know,
Facts. Facts.
it
There's
ain't no.
bitches.
It's,
There has to be someone who just makes a party drill record that you can just groove to. You ain't gotta murk nobody. Just have a good time. Fuck it. I'm finna
but see,
produce
that's
it.
the wrong influence. They drill music. They making the music and they really going out killing 30 people for nothing.
And then come back and make a new song about what they just did.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like they talked about us and tried to censor us with gangster rap. Hell, we didn't lay out the whole murder on them damn wax and put a sticker on it. You know what I mean? So it's until we get people in the right positions, you know what I mean? It's just gonna be like a hamster wheel, you know what I mean? And people people like everybody that's on the phone right now will continue thriving because the passion is what making you keep what keep us going. You know what I mean? And we'll be able to win in our arena. But these are some bright minds that should be in higher places. You know what I mean? And I remember when Roddy Rob called me and told me to come in and talk on this, you know what I mean? That's where I'm looking at it as. You know what I mean? We got
Hmm.
the wrong people. It's the wrong people. The wrong people are just in the wrong positions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You had 5 artists, like 6 acts got dropped from Epic this year because they were signed based on what they did on TikTok and social media and shit like that. That shit is lightning in a bottle. So when you try to go put them in the studio to make an album, they got lucky off of something a bunch of people was acting a fool off of. They're not real artists. They're not real. You know what I mean? You can't get no real music out of them. Where they at now?
Yeah, they don't know how to craft.
It's just
So,
that, you know what I
so what's
mean?
the solution? I mean, so we know, so we've identified the deficit. So what's the answer? Like, how do we change this around? Like, what's the solution?
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm 45 years old, so I mean, and there's probably the age range on this phone of different influences and backgrounds. But at some point, solutions need to be made, and support has to be given where it needs to be given, so we can start supporting the culture from our perspective and start pushing our agenda. So, what are the
We got to start
solutions?
figuring out how to figuring out like the people, like you say, you're 45 years old, I'm 48. We got to start figuring out the different roles and getting into the rooms and pressing our way up into these different places where we're going to be effective at on a bigger scale. That's where we upscale ourselves. You know what I mean? We got to keep moving up the ladder instead of just saying, okay, I'm just going to control this underground right here. Nah, we need to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We
Well,
need
we
to
have a
keep going
platform.
further.
And we have a
You know what I
platform
mean?
with BTSN to do that. I think BTSN is like that
Hmm.
platform that we all can put our energy behind and just say this is the thing that we can utilize as the catalyst to make a difference or the catalyst for change, right? So if we say there's a deficit where there's not enough of good quality entertainment going out or good quality culture enriching content that's going out, then now we have BTSN as kind of like that lighthouse to say, no, over here, that's what we're doing. So the move is to take all the energy of what we see as being a deficit and to see how can we turn this into an asset? How can we now use this energy to be agents of change?
Yeah, we got to
Attaching
Yeah.
it
always
to
make our own shit for
attaching it to
sure.
a like-minded multi-million-dollar brand that goes along with the same type of interest and that attacks the same people and reaches the same type of people. You know what I mean? The same way the dudes that created uh putting out music through a Red Bull label. They're an energy drink. How the hell do they got a rap label? Because you got the same type of kids that's doing music up all night in the studio drinking what? Red Bull.
Yeah,
So they got into music, and when they got into music, what they get? One of the best West Coast artists that came out since YG Blast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if
yeah,
BTSN could get with, you know what I mean? It's just all about, like that's where Badru come at. He good with going out, figuring out how to get Pepsi to come in and give him $1 million. Badru got the money.
Facts.
You better listen to him.
yeah.
Facts.
No, but honestly,
But you
no,
get the
honestly,
money.
Badru
all
get the
that,
money. Them the mountains he was talking about.
that's the mountains. That is
Go
the
ahead.
mountains.
Go ahead,
But
Bad. You gonna say something?
in real time, for real, that's circles back to why we even started this room, because everybody went around and said what they do, and it's all about influence, creative freedom to do your own creatives, say your own shit. And I know since before COVID, you know we all had a version of open to the world with what we did that was way more up close and personal. Like whether you had a studio that was the spot and people had to come by your studio on a regular basis just to kind of check in on that corner of hip hop, or it's a weekly club that you got where people know to show up and kind of vibe out with the like minded homies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, podcasts, whatever. We kind of stopped being untouchable like that. You know what I mean? So it was like we started thinking, okay, let's just have a conversation that we all hold down. That's not the regular conversation how they tell you it's supposed to go. That nobody have influence on but us. And then, like anything else, y'all all know how it is when you have your section that you hold down, where it's your couple of thousand people, whatever. Then when you negotiate with people and talk about what you want, you saying it's not just me, it's all of us. And I talk to people on a regular. I can go take this up for discussion with my 8,000, 10,000 people right here, and they'll give me some feedback. So what's that value to you? And we just start building on that value. So just controlling the conversation or just hosting the conversation, not really controlling it, but just being the ones that are like, anchoring a conversation that people not already have is a good strategy when you trying to say, here's my value in conversations with brands and shit like that. You know what I mean? So and if you listen to this conversation, you never had that conversation in hip hop just sitting around. You haven't had it yet because you ain't never sat with this combination of people and the difference in perspective in just albums, just talking about the albums alone made you realize there's different type of hip hop lovers on this call. You see what I'm saying? And the number one thing we could do for any brand or anybody who want to partner with us is understand our section better than everybody else. Like I call you and say wear a red shirt. Everybody on this call may show up with a different shade of red. He got on cherry red. He got on a candy apple red. This nigga shit is kind of faded. But when we know to say wear your maroon joint to go with the you know wear your USC. Boom. Now people know what to do because we know how to target our shit right and talk to our people right. So this conversation is a big part of it. You know what I mean? Scanning different people are part of it, and there's other people who are missing who's going to be here, and then we just build it out. So having a section you hold down to me is a big first start for a gang of people who don't have no other specific business anchor in it. I mean, BTSN is part of it, and we want to facilitate as much as we can. But there's other people going to do their podcast, and there's other people who, we're going to all be talking and building with that. Hopefully, it benefit them too, and everything we all doing.
Facts. And let's just take a pause on that note. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, to share the room. There's a little arrow at the bottom. You want to press that and share the room. You can share it to Clubhouse. You can share it to Instagram. You can share it to Twitter. But we just want to get the info out there and get people in this room so they can hear this wonderful conversation, this great content we have. And also on that note, since we have discussed the albums that we cherish, let's also talk about the pioneers. That have paved the way for us. So what's the best way that we can pay homage to those pioneers? What do you guys think?
I think John Robinson broke that down for me earlier, which goes back to what we were saying, or what do we do about the youth one, which you could say it better than me, Jr. But he was breaking down connecting
Yeah,
with
that
them
was
more
awesome.
is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big deal.
I think the information has gotten lost, right? Like we all grew up in a sense easily caring about who started what, who pioneered it, but more so just giving reverence, right? And
Come closer to
understanding
the
that.
mic, Jr. My bad. I could barely hear you.
You
Barely hear
hear
you.
me? You hear me
Oh,
now?
there you go.
So yeah, we all pretty much grew up easily understanding the connection to the pioneers in the beginning, whether it was the pioneers of hip hop, period, or just where you're from, who set it off, and paying reverence. You know, if they walk into a spot, everyone's gonna show them love just because, yo, that's the pioneers right there. That's who set it off. That connection has gotten lost, like the storytelling of the information of the blueprint and just the simple understanding of, yo, young homie, the reason you up there and you killing it and you making all this bread is because you're standing on someone's shoulders. And you got to understand too that you got to look back to move forward for real. Like you can't not know your foundation and continue to grow and prosper and have longevity. You got to have a blueprint. You got to easily understand your humble beginnings, and it starts with the pioneers. So I think it's really the stories and connecting the dots and knowing who the people are, because I'm in the classroom, right? I could talk to people about rappers from 10 years ago, and the entire high school class wouldn't know one of them, just in a decade. So it's like we're losing grace of connection. And a lot of it is really, shoot, play, parents got to play more music for their kids and make sure that they're connecting them to what they came up on, just how we learned. We were listening to a lot of the music our parents were, and it led us to where we were. But to be fair, we also got catered to the music. We grew up in a time where we knew what record stores we were going to buy the tape, and then when you got there, it told you what was coming out for the next 2 months and the dates. And
Facts.
it was just a different system, right? It was an
Yeah.
experience. Now it's just kind of all over the place, and that ecosystem doesn't exist in the same way. Some people feel like it's easier. I feel like it's harder just because the ecosystem's not as streamlined because it's kind of all over the place. But that's one thing I
So
would
sorry, Jr.
pinpoint.
Really, really quick. Whoever's opening the Snickers bar while John is talking, just mute your mic, please. Go ahead, John.
But yeah, I think that's a big part of it, like the information, right? If you're from LA, you're from Chicago, you're from Miami, you should know who your pioneers are. But even more so, you should know how they got influenced because it
And
tells your
see,
story.
the thing about that is, you got to remember hip hop really kicked off in what 70? What was it 79?
Yes.
So while we were growing up, all of the ones that's I'm talking to the ones that's in their 40s and stuff right now. While we were growing up, hip hop was fairly new, so it was
Yes.
still new. So it was more interesting to us, and by it being something that's new, that's why it's so near and dear to us because we saw it evolve.
Mm.
Now, what's going to have to happen is you look at these kids now, and that's something that we kind of, me and Potty Rob, we kind of played a role in dipping back into the younger crowds and their influence. You know what I mean? You got to get these people and put them in the right position where they can tell those stories. You know what I mean? That's just like in Miami, God rest his soul, before he died, you had Marky D was a radio DJ on one of the main radio stations in Miami. And
Yeah.
God rest his
Yeah.
soul, damn man, K Slay on Sirius Radio. You know
K
what I mean?
Slay. Yeah, man.
And
Facts.
we gotta influence the older cats to want to be an influence as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you got older dudes that might just fade off into the back and feel like, okay, they don't want to hear what I gotta say no more. It's a rap. I ain't really tripping no more. And then you never hear from them again. You know what I'm
That's true.
saying?
That's
So
true.
it's like if you put them in the right place, you know what I mean. At some point in time, you need, you know what I'm saying. Ain't nothing wrong with having DOC or you know what I'm saying, somebody like that on Power 106 or 92.3 or any, you gotta mix them in together because the influence has changed. These kids influence now that's 20 years old, their introduction to hip hop is fucking Lil Wayne.
That's real.
You understand what I'm
Definitely.
saying?
Yeah.
So they're not gonna know who created what. They Grandmaster Melly Mel, this dude is my granddaddy's age. But they hear the music. That's just like when we hear a Muddy Waters beat, boom, 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 boom. We know we've been hearing that a whole life. But until they start making movies about, we didn't know where that came from. We
It's
didn't know
true.
Elvis Presley imitated all the records that black people made. You know what I mean? So it's like all these different things. We gotta help. We gotta put these people in there. Like sometimes, you know, we get ready to do some things, you know what I mean? Let's say BTSN, y'all got something going on. It's a podcast show. All right, bring Dana Dane on.
Right, right.
You understand what I'm
Because when
saying?
Lil Nas X came out,
Yep.
a lot of these kids didn't know that he wasn't the first Nas.
That's real.
Exactly. They know Nas X. They don't know nothing about Nas. You understand what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
sad.
You got to think the influence changes over the years. We was before Straight Outta Compton came on, and I'm listening to a song, and she like, "Who is my daughter? Like, who is that, Daddy?" And I showed him a picture, and she was like, "Nick rap." I'm like, "Who the hell is Nick?" But my daughter thought the dude was. She looking at Ice Cube, calling him Nick from Are We There Yet?
That's
I
real though.
said,
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus. And as she got older, now when she seen Straight Outta Compton, blew her mind.
Wow. Wow.
You understand
Right,
what I'm saying? So it's like we gotta tell the stories. We gotta be the ones, you know what I mean? And that's when it goes back. None of this stuff, none of this shit that we talking about is gonna happen without no money. So we gotta go get the bag and then put it in the right places. You know what I mean? And we got to go do to somebody. We need to go do. We need to go get with Grandmaster Cass and write the script and write the movie about the, you know what I mean, about the Cold Crush brothers. And you know what I'm saying, we need to go write the movie about Big Daddy Kane. We need the movie about you know what I'm saying, about these dudes. You know what I'm
Real
right.
saying?
talk. Real talk.
Like the average person don't know that that was Big Daddy Kane's mink coat on that Slick Rick had on. I
Yeah.
mean, Big Daddy Kane's jewelry that Slick Rick had on in the video, well, vice versa.
I think it was
You
vice
understand what I'm
versa.
saying? Like
Yeah.
all of these different things, we gotta be able to put. We gotta, we gotta go get these dudes because they sitting around like a lot of them is sitting around like you know. I watched this show called Rust Valley Restorers, and it's a small town in Canada where they got a bunch of old cars,
I
all
rocked with
old
it.
cars, and they go get them and they restore them. That's what these dudes are.
Mm.
You got Eric B sitting
Bars.
over here. Right, we don't need to just book Rakim to come rap.
Nah, you're
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like
This
it's
is
ways,
walking,
and the
talking
way that they
history, right?
doing, the way that we getting people out there is through what? The visual aspect of it is more important than anything. You know what I mean? We don't got Rap City no more. We don't got these type of things no more. You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah,
so
can we,
we got to put these.
no, I'm sorry.
yeah. Look, just chiming in on that, man. Just the telling the stories is so powerful because it deepens the understanding and appreciation people have for how things were created. So
Yeah,
with that, like to your point, without those stories, without really shining that light, like it's different. Like it's the quickest way. Like we use a lot of times documentaries to just bring awareness about political issues or things that are happening, because people don't take action, they don't change behaviors without being motivated to do so. So like when you guys were talking about solutions, is like there's probably a whole lots of different ways that things have to change, but to inspire the change, there has to be that awareness and understanding, right? So I think those stories are a wonderful way to do that.
because once people see something, it's gonna always be more effective than anything. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like we could talk about it's over 800 or something thousand podcasts in the world right now. But when somebody could turn on a channel and look at something and watch it, it's a different thing. You know what I mean? Or so when you put, and when I say that, when you put people in front of people, it's and hear them talk. You know what I mean? It's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like they did the winning time, the Lakers about the Lakers and
Right.
the Bucks. You know, you wouldn't have thought, you wouldn't have knew. You heard, but you wouldn't have knew what they went through and how things was and stuff. You heard about it. You know what I mean? Just like Last Dance, we heard Michael Jordan was an asshole, but you see it for yourself.
That's
You know
real.
what I mean?
Right.
And then it influences the next thing. You know what I mean? You know, Kanye West, as crazy as he is, he's a mixture of now and the past because he pushes forward his idea and he put it all on the line for it to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kanye is a full go button.
So it's like we got the
But
influence.
hey, and there you go
The
too, though. That's
biggest
a
thing
perfect
that you can
example.
do is influence somebody. Influence is the biggest word and the biggest thing that can make anything change, especially dealing with the hip hop culture and urban culture, should I say. You know what I mean? Because once the influence, because, and I don't want to, no disrespect to any other race, but black people in urban culture, as far as our urban culture, as far as black is concerned, we lose influence and interest faster than any race and anybody in the world. You understand what I'm saying? When you reach a certain level in your career as a hip hop artist, when you get 30, 40, and 50 years old and you still performing, especially from LA, when you go to a show, your whole audience is Latino because they still hold on to the passion of it. We get off shit fast, over with.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? But if you
And it's
keep the
how we took in the music too. If you think about it, like our parents was bumping a music that was foreign. It was oldies. You'd be like, okay, you on the oldies, we on the hip hop. As parents, we was first on the hip hop, and your kid was on the hip hop too. Now it's a lot of hip hop difference between us. Like there's little kid hip hop, there's like grown nigga hip hop, trap, Roman, whatever. It's more categories now. But
yep,
we got a little bit of space where it's like, damn, what we bumping right now, we bumping our old shit. We rarely even bumping the Melly Mel, the stories that we need to tell. We don't even support that music no more, right? They not even getting that money. That money is not. We're not supporting that music except for old school parties here and there, and '80s retro party there. So when the generation behind us, that shit is so foreign to them. Why would they? It's like it's no relation. It's no relation. And then you got our artists who we such a forever young culture that we never even make it clear when you're an old school artist. So the old school show still the same motherfuckers, even though it's people inching into that category based on how long they've been rapping, their age, and whatever that little variable is. So it's like I know everybody on the call is right in terms of like it's on us and I guess our generations, if you got to say, to like be the one to tell the story of the ones before us. But we also got to get back in tune with like that music in general and just bringing that shit back to life. Even sampling it, I'm talking about creatively, like sampling some of these niggas shit would give them money. Well,
Yep.
maybe not because of the deals
Facts.
that they had, but the reinterpret getting them to redo it on your album probably don't cost much because they maybe not making certain money like academics was trying to blow up the, call them dusty whatever, but like look how much hip hop did for the funk legends. Some would call them dusty before hip hop started really sampling them and paying homage in the way that it did. It definitely brought funk back to the main stage.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So maybe when our creative process, really, because that's maybe our number one
Man, George
power,
Clinton would have been smoked off all his money if it wasn't for hip hop.
come on, man. Come on,
That's a
man, for
fact.
real. So we need to probably start sampling and like going to that era. Like we going to our parents' era, but that's not our old school. We got our own old school. That's they era. And then that's our parents' era. We probably should
And
start sampling some
you
of
got
our
some
old
of
school
them.
shit.
You got some of them that's doing it and it's working for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Prime example, I mentioned Blast. Them is Donnell Jones records that dude is blowing up off of.
Yeah.
You understand what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, look at YG. All I really want just to be that boy took the whole song. You know what I
Just
mean?
on
It's just
just on the creative aspect of like creating a record. Just to add to what y'all saying, like like how when Kanye did "Can't Tell Me Nothing" and he used Jeezy ad libs, nigga. If niggas don't use ad libs from the legends, you know what I'm saying? Like
Man,
from
Mob
Slick
Deep
Rick or
getting
come
sampling
on,
Cool Keith. Cool Keith makes
yeah,
so much money from people slap my bitch up and all that type of stuff. That shit is important.
fire. That's a great thing. And then even just to add to what Jr. was saying, like I constantly play different types of music, especially old school hip hop or what I would call old school hip hop. I'm playing it through the house all day, and whatever my kids is doing, whether they cleaning up or they're doing homework or whatever, they'll be doing anything. By the time I play this album 2, 3 times, they already found a song that they cling to. It's already something that's in their brain. It's like, oh, okay, I like that one, and that's a like to what Jr. was saying. That's a way to keep the history going of them knowing what it is. And then every now and then, Zai, which is my youngest son, he'll be peeking at my Apple Music to see what song it is. You know what I mean? Whether he decides to play it on his own terms or not is totally up to him. But at least giving them the opportunity to know that it's more music out here and a lot of shit that I grew up off of. You know what I'm saying?
it's just things.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just other
dope.
things that, like you said, it's just outside of just the music. It's just creating opportunities, getting with these brands, these clothing brands, these food, drink brands, and all these people that's willing to partner with something that's popular and something that's dope, and creating different vehicles and bringing it back and and put these people in position outside of just what I mean, just the music, because it's like it's not no experience. Our last experience of new music and videos was 106 in Park. Now it's like, okay, you got to damn near hear through the grapevine or see it on Instagram that somebody got a new video, and then you go watch it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like,
So
it's
real.
still vehicles and still things available. You know what I mean? Like it just got to be presented and pushed the right way. You know what I mean? And professionally done and cleaned up the right way and presented, and it can happen. It's just gonna take some money and some people that's really gonna say, okay, I'm gonna produce this show, and I'm gonna walk it into Amazon Prime. I'm gonna walk it into, you know what I'm saying, these different new outlets or whatever, where people are watching different things, and then it'll bring light to the old ways and the new ways. You mix them, you know what I mean? You mixing them up because now you could go hire Roxanne Shante to host, and you know what I mean. Just like the what was it? Not the BET Awards, but one of them awards. MC Light was the voice of it forever. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So it's like you got to do different things that allow them to have the opportunity, and it's like we got to create those things. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it takes money. You know what I mean? So we gotta go find the ones that's going, okay, we're gonna we first we gotta create it and create the dopest pitch deck for these things that we could possibly do. And shop this stuff and play it like
Right.
these Jews do and do it like the rest of these do. We gotta take chances and go out here and try to get some real cash because all of this stuff that we talking about is just a dream and us being passionate and loving in the fucking closet until we put the
I make
real
pitch
dough
decks. What's the
behind it.
move? I make pitch decks. So what's the action plan? I mean, you gave that was a strong action plan. You just gave at the end about putting together some things. Let's get the pitch decks together and start pitching them. I'm with that. That sounds like a great action plan. I make pitch
Yeah.
decks. What's the strategy? Let's get it done.
There it is there. There it is
Let's
there.
let's
It,
let's do it.
it
So
starts with some dope ideas, right?
so
Look.
just it starts with an idea. It starts
This
with the
may.
idea.
Oh, go ahead, man.
You
I
know what I'm
mean, what? Go
saying?
ahead.
Who is that said they do the pitch decks?
Me, Je.
Je.
JE. All right, yeah. Oh, I'm
I,
definitely
I,
gonna be at you because
I want to give a
I'm
quick
at the
shout out to
house.
Miku. You know what I'm saying? Miku is in the room. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely phenomenal Grammy nominated singer songwriter. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my dear friends and one of the gentlemen who understands the layout of taking the quality of how we created music and being able to reinvent himself through the times and just learning from our forefathers and our hip hop pioneers. So shout out to
And
Miku
he's
for
the
sure.
freakiest Nigerian in the world.
Yo, Miku, if you want to speak, just raise it up. We'll bring you in. You know what I'm saying? Also, this might be off the subject, but man, I always keep thinking about you know how TikTok is so big, and I remember somebody mentioning like, what if Lords of the Underground just decided to just trademark fucking TikTok when they did the record? Jesus Christ, man. It's a whole lot of money, man. Crazy. That's crazy.
Yo, side note, the homie who Do Right. He ran for a seat in New Jersey and actually won. So he's actually one of the
Yeah,
first politicians that we have in hip hop. I was actually there to film that for him,
Nice.
and that was
he's a
super dope.
councilman.
Redman, he's a councilman. Yeah, Redman was there. It was like the dopest situation ever. We was up in there, had the cameras on. That was super dope, and it was like a very dope moment for hip hop. It was good to be a part of that. That happened in Jersey a couple months
Yeah,
ago.
he's like the
And see,
first
that's the shit I'm
official
talking
hip hop
about. And by
politician,
him
right?
being coming from the hip hop culture and now he's in politics, he can relate to something that them old heads can't relate to. And he'll be
Understanding
able
the
to push
people.
the needle. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to happen with the Grammys, but that's another story.
Talk your shit. Why?
We put too much energy into the Grammys.
Time up against the wall. Fuck 'em.
We just put too much energy into other people's validation. We gotta just go. I mean, like I never, like I said, Grammys is good if you're getting them. That's what's up. But at the end of the day, we have to start putting a higher onus on our own award system. Or we could do the BTSN awards. You know what I'm saying, or whatever it may be, and just have our
Coming
own
soon.
platform to celebrate our people.
Coming soon.
Man, that shit is just a month. That's just a what you call it, the Willie Lynch and all that other stuff, man. It's like we feel like in order for us to feel like we've actually arrived or did something big, if we got a Grammy. Who says? I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Snoop Dogg is one of the biggest. Snoop Dogg is the biggest shit since Jesus Christ and Mickey Mouse, and he ain't never won a Grammy.
Real talk. Real talk, man.
You know what I'm saying? So we can't let none of that stuff justify us. You know what
Right,
I
right,
mean?
right.
Cool.
You know,
And I
Source
and I
Source
want to
gave
get
Source gave him 4 mics. Bloods gave me 5 rags.
What? Legendary quotes, yo.
Hey, yeah, you gotta repeat that one more time, but this time slow it down for the ones who didn't get it the first shot. For the weed smokers, you need to slow that one down a little bit.
No,
Man.
I can't repeat that, man. I ain't got to. Yeah, but that's just like I said, we got some dope ideas. Let's not be afraid. Let's not be afraid to fall down. You know what I'm saying? You got some bright ideas. Jay said he could write pitch decks. Man, you'll never know because guess what? All these Jews and all these lot of different people and the ones that's controlling the needle that got the money to make these things happen, they are what we are. They are not what we are, and that's the ultimate creators. It's just like the creators of everything.
Yeah, we
You
are
know
the
what I mean?
culture. We are like we literally are the culture. That's something like so. If we are the culture, then we should be able to control it as well by controlling the platforms
Come
from
on,
which it's
man.
being distributed. So, like I said, if we are that, then let's be that. Let's stop giving it away and just say no. Come to us on our terms because it's our
Exactly.
IP, it's our creativity, it's our
Exactly.
culture.
Exactly. And then see, sometimes we get sidetracked and say, I'm not gonna do it. You can have a multi-million-dollar idea, but you won't jump or move the needle because you feel like you don't got the money to do it. These people are building billion-dollar companies and been doing it since the beginning of time with other people's cash. All we got to do is present it the right way and put it the right way in the professional light and present it, and they gonna jump on, especially if it's dope. Especially if it's dope. You know what I mean? Some people don't even know what a pitch deck is, but these are that one thing is all you need from getting $10 million from the right people with a bright idea. You know what I mean? These people they want to invest in them. You got people that want to invest money nonstop. A lot of athletes, a lot of people. And I'm pretty sure everybody on here got some type of idea that could be ground changing. Me and Polly Rob didn't have a dime and jumped in that studio. And I put CSD together and we did that whole shit or whatever and created one of the biggest records in music history, still being played to this day from a bright
Facts.
idea.
Was that banging on
You
wax?
know what I'm saying? Not to toot my own horn, but I've been through so much stuff rapping and been through hell to end up living in the studio. Me and Polly Rob having dinners through the microwave. 7-Eleven was the soul of our survival.
Facts.
And
No lies told.
one song, and we had the homie that took a chance and put his last dime on getting the studio, and we put it together. So I'm a believer and a living witness that you can take the right idea and make it happen.
The
And
fact
Oh
that
yeah,
I
we
for
seen it
sure. It's happening every day.
yeah,
You know,
every
it's
day.
happening every day. It's just whether you choose to be a part of it or not.
Yeah,
And then
yep.
in terms of the old school, like how we started out, just the pioneer aspect of it too. It's like if you don't play their music and you don't bump their shit, they not getting no shows. If we don't create no demand for them, not like we got to just all. So I think the sampling is the best thing, but back to just creating business around what we think is important. Like nothing has like that traditional value until the people who believe in the tradition and value it start blowing it up. You know what I mean? Like we hip hop, but it's like we so into being young that we won't leave nothing up to get old. So nothing's becoming classic except for in your memory. You know, it's just like personal to your memory. What's a classic?
yep,
It's personal to my memory. You know, it's like no. What's medieval time? What you know? You should be able to look at your time period and go. this is popular or this has value because it's been around in hip hop for that long and we still value it. You know what I mean? But we be with the move on so fast, not from a bad place. Like we creatives, we got a gang of ideas. We a creative culture. We have a gang of ideas. You only as good as your next idea, and we moving on. You know what I mean? But we got to create some type of shit where, like, the hip hop museum is not worth anything. Everybody in the whole world influenced by hip hop, and the local hip hop museum is not worth shit. That show our shit just don't accrue value like that because we don't stand by for a long time. We got to go try to stand next to the new stuff. So I think in the call, I mean, on this meet is dope because we starting to talk about turning some of the old stuff into new stuff, valuing some of the old stuff as like fucking valuable at all, and thinking of some ideas like the coming with the documentaries. If nothing else, we gotta just choose one artist who nobody else would fucking know unless you really was true to the culture, and think of like one or two artists like that and start creating some type of concept around doing some content to that person because that's
Facts.
hella key. And then that's something where we could start. If we don't do that, VH1, all them people, whatever, life, they just gonna keep choosing Salt and Pepper and the most top line mainstream. No disrespect to Salt and Pepper, but they gonna just they only know to do those stories. They don't know to do Big L story. They don't
because
know
they
to do
don't got nobody.
DOC story.
They don't got nobody presenting. And just like you said with the hip hop museum, like nobody gives a fuck about it, right? It don't have no value. But if we start doing different things, let's say you throw a dope ass show at the hip hop museum and market it and promote it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got to do stuff like that because
These
where
different
is the
things.
hip
That's
hop
why I say it
museum?
goes back to the sponsorship and the money. If we market and promote everything that we want, you know what I mean, want it to do the same way and treat it like everybody do everything else that's big. Make it, it's all perception. Make it bigger than life. Oh yeah, we finna do this dope ass show. Okay, we got who we got. Okay, if we create a pitch deck and say, okay, we want to get Rick Ross, Lil Baby, and these different things like that or whatever. Let's just say you pick all the new artists that all the youngsters like, and we're gonna do it at the Hip Hop Museum. And before the show, now you got Lil Baby and all these different dudes that don't know shit about the past of hip hop. Now they learning. Now they get interested and learn about and because where we at the museum. So now it's mixing. We got to be able to mix the cultures. And when you present that and put that, let's say Jay put it in the pitch deck, and these are the people that we want. You take that to sponsorship and you see those different names, now you'll fuck around and you'll get them. It ain't about us being able to go sell our houses and sell our cars to pay these people to come perform. No, we put it all in the pitch deck, present it to Sprite, Pepsi, all these different people that got money sitting around doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? That want to do stuff like this, and just maybe 250,000 might be a tax write off for them, and we go do the show from the hip hop museum, and then we go film the movie. You know what I'm saying? We go get at Shaq, or we go get at different people that do a lot of investing and stuff like that, and you pitch these ideas to them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, we finna do a movie, a documentary about the Fushnikins.
Come
Ooh, that was my group, yo.
on
You
now.
understand what I'm saying?
Crazy.
I see. That's what I'm saying. It's like Bad
Shaq
said
want to do
people that
that.
people don't.
DOS effects.
Daz Effects, come on, man. That Daz Effects, they want Effects remix was the craziest shit ever.
Crazy.
Big facts. Big facts, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to think. You know what I mean? Like, okay, everything. If we get the presentations right, first of all, we create the ideas, create the Jay, put these pitch decks together. Then we go get the money, and we put the money into the ideas, and we create the influence because now it's marketed the right way. It's just like campaigning for anything. The more you got into your campaign, the more people you're gonna get attention to it. You understand what I'm saying? It's some dope ideas and shit going on. You know what I mean? Just from the people on this phone. You know what I mean? And somebody gonna jump on it if it's
Yeah, man.
presented the right way. You think people don't want to hear the Big Daddy Kane story?
Yeah,
They don't want to see that?
definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I got Damani right now, so if we get Damani to play Kane,
That's a fact. Hey,
Oh man, that dude looked like Big Daddy Kane.
come on, man, we could do the
That's
story of the Fat Boys. I'll get two other niggas look like me, and we'll be the fat. Come on, man. I still can beatbox. I'm buff like a motherfucker.
but you're right. Those are classic stories. That, yeah, man.
Come on, man.
let's
You don't want
go.
to hear the story about the Disco 3?
Yeah,
Shh.
man.
Come on.
Just think
It's
about how interesting it is if you watch cable. Think about the History Channel. Regard, I know it's a white racist channel. I know that, but they got some interesting shit on there. They got a show on there where they talk about Hershey, the brothers, of how Hershey's was
Yeah,
made, how
yeah,
the how Cheerios and the fucking story about Domino's pizza is fucking amazing to me. Two brothers, he didn't even want to keep going with the idea of it, and he sold he took some money and the goddamn Volkswagen Beetle and wrote his and let his brother buy him out the company. You understand what I'm saying? It's just all these different stories that you see on these channels. Man, it's channels up the ass now. We ain't gotta go to channel 7 and channel all these ABC and mainstream TV. You know how many motherfuckers watching Tubi
Whoa, whoa,
and
whoa,
they
whoa,
giving
whoa,
them
whoa, whoa, whoa.
cash?
That's too many competitors in one. They gonna watch BTSN. If you can watch Tuba, you can watch BTSN. Goddamn. If it's
Okay,
for
I
this
mean,
facts.
one
like I
topic,
said, I still
come
gotta
back.
learn about y'all my brothers, but I still don't know the full capacity of what BTSN does all the way.
That's right.
So
That's right.
my bad. I don't want to disrespect. I didn't mean to cuz you, but
No, no. Technically, we launched November 1st, so it's a conversation. If the current conversation maybe don't include that, but the next conversation is going in
these
that
niggas is
direction.
so much my family. When we talk on the phone, we talk about shit so personal. It ain't got nothing to do with no instrument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Nah.
'Cause when I'm on the phone with Potty Rob, we talking about his hat matter. I can't say that. I won't do it. I'm sorry. My bad, Potty Rob.
Stupid.
Jojo Dancer.
Jojo.
You know what I mean? So I mean, we just got to put these ideas together, man. It all take money. Everything
Yeah.
take cash. We put it
That,
together.
that's another thing about the room that we wanted to make sure was part of the program too. Was like, no, we don't want to just come and one day listen to a podcast, one day have conversations, one day talk about sports, whatever it is. We're gonna do that. That's what this thing is. But we do want to take the time when we got all these people who do something right to like collab on projects and would this person does a deck? It's only this was like just a few of us jumping on just to kick it off. But one person does a deck, another person, is strong in bookings, another person knows somebody at the hip hop museum or whatever, venue we might choose, or another person just produces, like whatever it is, we could talk it out and get the beginning of the plan going to where we can get off the platform and make some real life shit happen. And one thing
One
about me and
project at a
everybody
time.
involved, everybody does it. Like we all manifest shit. Like that's
Yeah.
one thing I know about everybody that I do know on in the rooms is like we all live in the life we created. We pretty much
Mhm.
show up where we want and pay bills based on that. So
Facts.
whatever we put our minds to is gonna be that, right? So we just got to plan a little bit on some of these talks. We talked about hip hop, and this is the dope thing about how hip hop and think tanking go together, because just like freestyling and making songs, we talking about the shit as a culture, everybody perspective. We laughing, we kind of disagree on some stuff, and in the end, we start talking about how we're going to make what we're talking about come to life. Like everybody I know is more about that than just talking about it, leaving a negative soundbite, and then kind of going back to making top ramen or whatever. Like, so if we can make some shit, which we will, just keeping in mind that all these conversations can manifest into reality. That's why we on a positive note in the first place, just to build out more dope shit, you know?
Damn right. And then just a quick add on that, you know, our platform BTSN, which is the Behind the Scenes Network, is also a platform that can showcase, you know, great content from podcasts, you know, web series, documentaries, and just, you know, normal enriched BTS content naturally. So we will be opening up the elements of people to be able to submit to the BTSN channel. You know, definitely there's a criteria for it, but it's go time. You know what I mean? November 1st is the
Yeah,
launch, and, you know, we get into it.
yeah. Well, shit, I've talked to y'all for a long time. I'm new to the platform, so I still got, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah,
But
we can go ahead and end. We can go ahead and end it. Bad, you got any last comments?
shout out to my dear brother Noomsi. No, I appreciate y'all. That was a great conversation. That was a great conversation. I know we all heard it. However many people heard it on this call is dope. I'm sure we recorded it and be able to, you know, make some more content out of it and have more people hear it. And that was some dope shit to me. That was time well spent. I'm about to go watch Netflix now.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I
Look,
want to
I
thank
named another
everybody for
platform after
listening.
I talked all that shit. My bad. And I'm about to go watch BTSN right now.
Nah, I'm finna go watch Netflix. Fuck that shit. I'm really finna watch it. Nah, y'all know what I'm finna go do. I'm finna go buy me an 8 ball of powder from Potty Rob, and I'm gonna hook up with Baju because he the
don't do
leader
that.
and he
Don't
the
do
trafficker.
Oh
Y'all
shit.
take care.
Damn.
that. This man is crazy, man. Hey, really quick. Uh, I appreciate everybody. We're gonna go ahead and end this room. We're gonna be doing a lot more rooms. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do music rooms. We're gonna have listening parties. You know, we're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. Podcast listening rooms where you can do your podcast live in here. Like we got a lot of stuff planned. So we appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all soon. We might be doing a room tomorrow, so we'll keep y'all posted. Any last words from anybody?
Nice meeting all y'all. It was a great conversation, and I just appreciate I'm a part of it. So I can't wait for us to have more.
Definitely
Likewise.
nice meeting everyone. If we're gonna be meeting later on to start putting together some type of production schedule, whatever that may be, definitely include me in on that conversation.
Yes, sir.
But this is super dope.
No doubt. Likewise, man. Good to meet everyone. Excited to, get these ideas churning and start to move on some things. But these type of conversations and much more are needed. So definitely, let's keep it going.
Yeah. Hey, and John, don't think we ain't finna talk about those bars you got over there, man. Come on, man. We gonna get to that soon, man. I'm a fan. I'm a fan, King. Come on, man.
Yo, appreciate you, bro. Word up.
No, no doubt, no doubt. Simply close us out.
All right, again, I want to thank all y'all so much for coming and tuning into our first room. And it's just only going to get better from here, baby. So let's keep it going. Let's make sure we share the content. And the replays is on. So if you ever want to share it and send it to somebody so they can listen to it, that's available to you. And yeah, until next time, uh, stay dangerous, friends.